Well, let me tell you something, brother. When you get in the ring with the 24-inch pythons, dude, and you get on your couch watching No Holds Barred, brother, and you got a friend named Eric, and he's being loud, you put the movie in, dude, and he'll sit on the floor and be quiet, because that's how it works, brother. Anyway, welcome to I got it, Tubi Tuesday. There you go. I said, and today we're talking about No Holds Barred from 1989, starring Hulk Hogan, Tom Tiny Lister, and that guy who's in Ghostbusters 2, I can't remember his name. Kurt Fuller. Kurt Fuller. There it is. Hold on, I gotta do this. So, yeah, No Holds Barred. Vince McMahon's attempt to get wrestlers into doing movies. Keep in mind, I think Piper did They Live before this. Hold on, I got it right here. Isn't it? 1988. So, Piper did it first. Yeah, also, much better movie. Blasphemy, some of you Hogan fans will say. But, it's directed by John Carpenter. Come on. But yes, this was Vince McMahon's attempt to get wrestlers to do movies with wrestlers in it. And he had one wrestler, well, two, technically. Because Stan Hansen is in this as that, was his name Bubba or something? He's a chomping on the chew in that bar. That's it, two wrestlers. Hell, didn't Roadhouse also come out in 1988? The same year as They Live? Terry Funk was doing this before Hulk Hogan was. And yet, Hogan becomes the biggest star in movies, starring in such Oscar-winning performances as Suburban Commando, Mr. Nanny, Santa with Muscles, Three Ninjas, High Noon, and Mega Mountain, and let's not forget the movie that WCW was shoving down your throat, Assault on Devil's Island, which was actually the sequel to Shadow Warriors, if I remember correctly, Shadow Warriors 2, and then there was not Trouble in Paradise, Thunder in Paradise. I keep saying it wrong. Thunder in Paradise, which was a movie, then it was a show, and then it was three movies, and two of them were double episodes of the show. I don't know. But yeah, Hulk Hogan is in this, and he's playing himself. Let's be honest, it's him, but without the name. He's playing a guy named Rip. Rip Thomas is his full name, but they never say his last name in the movie. Even the arena announcer's like, Rip. Why couldn't he be Hogan? Why couldn't he be Hulk Hogan? He's the World Wrestling Federation champion. They're in the World Wrestling Federation. You got Mean Gene Okerlund and Jesse Ventura. I guess there's another wrestler in there. And I don't know, why couldn't he? And the strap on the World Wrestling Federation title is white for some reason. Was it white at the time? I don't know. This was 1989. I was 2. Give me a break. Okay? I was into wrestling at this time. I was 2. But, he's at a match with Jake somebody or Jack something. I don't know. Some jobber of the week, apparently. Why couldn't it be a notable wrestler? I don't know. Just someone. And we're introduced to his brother, Randy, played by Mark Pellegrino, you may know from Supernatural as Lucifer. Was also always on Lost as Jacob. And here, well, they dyed his hair blonde. I mean, Mark Pellegrino was already a dirty blonde. But he's got to be Hulk Hogan's brother. He's got to dye his hair really blonde, dude. And while watching this, a man named Brell, which is not a freaking name, is watching this, and he wants to buy Rip. which is not how it works. You have to buy the company he works for. He wants Rip to be on his channel. So why not make a deal with the WWF, or WWE, the World Wrestling Federation, to have their shows on your network? Instead, he wants to buy Rip. Even if Rip wanted to, that's not how contracts work. You can't just buy one guy when he's in the middle of his contract and say, come over to me. Now, unless your name is Ted Turner, dude, and you're going to give him a big parade, brother. No, I'm seriously. When Hulk Hogan went to WCW, he went over there, he got movies, and he got his own parade at Disney World. I wish I was making this shit up. That is what happened. It also adds to the fact that he was probably pretty much fed up with stuff. Like, he was... Like, okay, now... Everyone knows that Hogan... Well, he has a ego bigger than the size of my belly. Okay, and so his ego ruined the end of WrestleMania 9. And there was writing on the wall before that, because he was doing movies and stuff. By the end of 93, he was gone. And he went to WCW in 1994. I believe his first one was the Bash at the Beach against Ric Flair, which is a match we never got in the WWF. And why? Well, I don't know for sure, but given Hogan's track record, I'm willing to bet this is at WrestleMania 8. Flair was losing anyway, so maybe it wasn't that. I don't know, maybe there was two clashing egos, or maybe Vince McMahon just wasn't interested, which has been the story with some matches before. Like, you know how everybody wanted to see Sting versus The Undertaker, and it didn't happen? Why? Because Vince McMahon didn't want it. He was supposed to be a businessman, right? Didn't he have a whole faction dedicated to the phrase "best for business"? I mean, come on. He wants to put seats in those asses. That's not how it works. Asses in those seats. Put that match. You know? And they would have done it. We don't know who's he going to face. Triple H. Why? So we can have Sting lose. So we can once again poke fun at the fact that Vince killed WCW. That's all that match was about. Because if you really look at that match from a standpoint of situation, sure, Diaz comes out to help Triple H. Sure. Who comes out to help Sting? The NWO? The NWO. In what world does that make sense? No, it was more like, oh, look, this is WWE, and this is NWO. And we got to have Triple H win so we could say WWE beat WCW again. I'm going off track. Hogan wasn't in that match, though. Anyway, Bro wants to purchase Rip, and offers some big money to do it. Right? Right? He says no, and then leaves. Where he is, like, he's in a limo, and the limo driver is paid off by Bro, so tries to kill him? I don't know. He's driving sporadically, and Hogan, I'm going to call him Hogan, that's what he is able to defer him by kicking the door, which his legs must be strong enough to move the car or something. And they get in the parking garage, and he beats up this driver guy that shits his pants. And we get the brilliant performance of, what's that smell? Dookie! Dookie! How did this not win an Oscar? I mean, come on. Doogie! Hulk Hogan just said, Doogie! Yes, the guy shits his pants. And now... I'll give it to you. Ace Hogan was intimidating. Okay, big muscles and stuff. You know, but yeah. So, not satisfied with this, Brell and his two cohorts, one of which is played by I had it in my head, I forgot his name. He's been in a lot of stuff. I don't remember the guy's name top of my head, but they go to this bar. That's where we meet Stan Hansen, and they got this basically no holds barred fighting thing where anything goes. You know, and basically you kill someone and then get away with it. And Stan Hansen is there, and we get another award-winning line by Stan Hansen this time when the two business guys are in the John. He comes in there, he looks down, he goes, "Well, look at that. We got a couple of tiny wangers." How did this screenplay not win an Oscar? Come on. There's so much cheese that even I can't handle it. And I love a cheese. This is a couple of tiny wangers. He says it here, and then later he sees him again and he goes, "Well, look at that. If it ain't the tiny wangers." I'm just like, I don't know. Oh, by the way, if you want another little gem of dialogue, you know, everybody needs catchphrases, apparently. And Brell's catchphrase is calling everyone a jockass. Because this movie's PG. And so if they say jackass, they'll move it up to PG-13. Apparently. That's what I could get from it. I think this is PG, isn't it? This Dookie and Danny Wangers. That's very PG for the 80s anyway. And I was going to look it up, and I didn't look it up. And hold on. Oh, here. I can tell you. I can look it up, actually, on the Tubi app. Because that's where I watch it. Because this is Tubi Tuesday, dude. Yeah, I don't want to... The jingle will go off. Tubi. It's going to do it. You won't hear it. Tubi. Okay. Kids, I want search. Search, you stupid. This is wonderful content. I mean, just searching. No. Search! Why are you... No. It's not searching. Oh, because I'm doing a space, not a search. How far out did I go? Okay, here it is. No holds barred. You know that H is way out there. No holds barred. It is rated. It is PG-13. No. Yeah, it is PG-13. They could. So he's gonna call everybody jackass. Also, or jockass, excuse me. And when he fires people, he fires this woman earlier in the film, and he tells her to take a leak. And if you didn't know what that meant, you'd think he'd yell at this woman to go to the bathroom, and she's crying over it. But no, apparently, he fired her, and that's what it meant. Can I ask who wrote dialogue in this movie? Anyway, we are introduced to this woman, Stacy something or other. Jennifer. No, that's his third wife, brother. What's her name? I don't... I could have written this down. I don't, because I try to go more... Well, we meet this woman, right? It's supposed to be like a publicist, right? And she's there to help him. And, like, obviously she's going to be the love interest. Not because you can figure it out because she's the only real woman in this movie, but the fact that Hogan is eye fucking her from the moment she walks in. I mean, he's sitting there at the table going. I mean, he's growing his 2 to 4 inch python down there, brother, and just Jesus. I mean, he is. It's not subtle at all. Let me take my glasses off and show you. This is how he looks. He's just like, he's ready to go, right? Yeah. And they end up taking a business trip eventually for some reason, because we gotta have quirky romantic comedy stuff going on. There's no reason. They go to a restaurant, right? And there's this French dude who is totally being, I don't say racist towards Hulk Hogan, but because Hulk Hogan looks like a normal dude, who, by the way, is a world famous wrestler in and out of this movie. Everybody should know who Rip is. And yet this guy's like, oh, I'm sorry we'll not have a hamburger, a footlong hot dog for you. And he's just like, and then this other guy comes in, oh, I'm sorry, Monsieur Le Rip. Monsieur Le who? Monsieur Le Rip, I will get you a special burger for you. And I'm just like, is this the one? Is he a new? What is this? You know? And then later, he takes her to a regular restaurant. So now, Brell at this point, I forgot, I totally skipped something. Brell at this point, they went to this place, they introduced Zeus. This Zeus. Really, he's doing this, and this is what he's doing, but I don't know. Zeus. My shoulder doing that. Zeus. You know, this big guy, and he's this new thing. And so Brell introduces this new no holds barred kind of wrestling show for his channel. And he's got Zeus, he's got this new show, he's got his ratings. But for some reason, he still wants Rip. He wants Rip to fight Zeus, and Rip says, well, that doesn't work for me, brother. And so he goes on this trip with Stacy, for lack of a better name. And they have to share a hotel room because of shenanigans. I'll get into it. So, while she's in the bathroom, he's out there. He like puts a clothesline with clothes on it hung between the bed. They're gonna share the same bed. All right. She comes out in her bra and underwear, her bra and panties. Why? Because I don't know. And he's there in, I think he has like a tight tank top shirt on and like little red tight underwear. It was the 80s, you know. But one wrong move we're going to see is 2 to 4. It's Python, brother. I'm just saying. So he's like, oh, we could share. Do you like your accommodations? She's like, oh, sure. One point, there's like a whole thing. I was like, oh, look at this. She's brushing her teeth, and he's brushing his teeth right outside the door. Which, by the way, the way he's going, I don't know why she couldn't hear him from outside the door. But anyway, they get on there, they're sharing the bed, and she's there trying to get to sleep. All of a sudden, from the other side of the sheets, you hear, and the bed is moving, and you're supposed to think what you're thinking, but really, he's just doing push-ups. Yeah, and oh, by the way, when she flips up, he's not only doing push-ups, he's all oiled up for bed. I don't know. And so he then jumps on the bed, breaking it, and then he gets mad, and she's like, where are you going? Well, there's a couch in the lobby. I'm gonna sleep there. And I'm like, you broke the bed. Is Hogan's ego so big he can't admit he broke a bed? I mean, come on. And later he even makes a joke about, but yeah, they're falling for each other, I guess. And so it's revealed that she works for Brell, which of course she does, but it doesn't really make any sense. But she works for Brell. Because, I don't know, maybe she was supposed to convince him to fight Zeus is never really explained, to be honest. But yeah, but she says she's done. And I love how bro puts it. Oh, before you said you wouldn't, and now that you have a crush on him, you can't. Or couldn't, and now you can't. And, yeah, and so he hits her. What did I say in my previous video? Don't hit women. It's not right. Don't hit women. So then she goes running to Rip and tells her it was Brell. Tells him, pardon me. Tells him it was Brell. And he's like, Brell? She's like, yes, I'm sorry. So, well, I forgive you. And I'm like, that was quick. Okay. I mean, I've never known Hulk Hogan to hold a grudge. But this was pretty quick forgiving, you know? But I'm just saying, yeah. So, yeah, now she's on his side. And so, I still don't understand why Brella's trying to get Hogan. Because he's got Zeus, he's got his show. I don't know. So they go after Randy, and they put him in the hospital. And it says, okay, now if... First of all, that is one of the dumbest things. Oh, beat up the brothers, and now you gotta face Zeus. It's like, wouldn't it be, we have your brother, and if you don't face Zeus, we're going to beat him up. No, they beat him up and they say, you gotta face Zeus now. And then, he ends up agreeing to it, right? They do this fight, no holds barred, anything goes. And the bro comes up to him and says, well, put on a good show for about 10 minutes, and then lay down for him. Now, I don't think you know who you're talking to, Mr. Brell. This is Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan doesn't lay down for any brother. For anybody, brother. And that's the reason the company's in the damn shape it is, dude. For bullshit like this. But yeah, no. So, of course, he doesn't. Because it's Hulk Hogan. He's not laying down. You gotta lay down for him, brother. No, he beats the hell out of him. And then for some reason, once Hogan starts to get going and the fight spills out of the ring and they're fighting in front of this big-ass window that Brell is in, Brell starts ripping the machines out of the wall? No, the only thing I can think of is he's trying to, and has, disrupted the feed so no one can see what's going on the TV. But that just makes him a bigger fucking idiot. Because he's got all these ratings for this show. This show is giving him ratings. And now he's disrupting the system, breaking it. So now they can't see it. Now everything's going to go down because he tore this thing apart. So yeah, Hogan beats Zeus. And then beats up Brell. And then we get the... And then end credits. Yeah, that's his little catchphrase. You know. And he's got a bandana that says, rip 'em. I don't know. He doesn't use a leg drop once in this. It's not his finishing move, I don't think. Maybe he does. I don't know. But, yeah. This movie is what it is. It's the product of its time. It's 80s cheese at full mast. You know? Like, yeah. But I'm gonna give it a very high, middle of the road. It's not a masterpiece, although some people would say it was. But I would say it's a masterpiece. No. Okay, so I made a little comment at the beginning of the video. Okay, I have a friend named Eric, I mentioned him before, and he gets a little Riley. We'll put Riley, rowdy. Get rowdy. sometimes, and it's one of those people where you tell him to be quiet, he's just gonna be louder. So one day, he was here, he was being Eric, and I put No Holds Barred in. As soon as I did, he sat down, crossed his legs on the floor, and watched the damn movie. I said, well, I guess I know how to shut Eric up now, don't I? Now, I guarantee you, I never tried it again because I'm not dumb. I knew it wasn't going to work more than once because if I tried to use that, he'd catch on pretty quick. And yeah, that ain't going to work for him, brother. But yeah, this is a movie that, it's very, it's 80s. It's 80s. And it made me realize that Kurt Fuller played a lot of the same role. This and Ghostbusters 2, very similar roles. He had very similar roles when he played in the 80s and 90s. So, yeah, it's a very high middle of the road. Not quite pretty good, but still good, I guess. But I wouldn't call it good. It's the cheesy fun, I guess. If you want to hear Hulk Hogan say Dookie. Hey Hogan, what would you call your match with the Ultimate Warrior at Halloween Havoc 1998? Dookie. You're right. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.